These are some of the theorems which are used in finding out the determinants. You can call them as the properties of the determinants as well. But then I am not going to do the proof. What you can do is remember this statement. They are very easy to remember. They are all intuitive. We need not go into the proofs. But then once you remember these theorem statements, it will be easy for you to compute the determinants of bigger matrices later. Okay. So I'll just explain you, and I'll just give you how it is actually true. But then you please remember them. Okay, there are lots of theorems like this. I'll give you all the important theorems without proofs. The first one is the value of the determinant does not change when rows and columns are interchanged. It means that if you take the value of the a matrix, or you take the transpose of the matrix, both of them are going to have the same determinant. Which means if you have a matrix A, and if you find out the determinant of a matrix A, and then if you find out the determinant of the transpose of the matrix, both are going to be same. So how is it true is simple. If you have the A, matrix A, I'm just trying to show you the proof. You need not remember it. You can just remember this statement, this one. Okay. So if you have one row, and if you expand the if you find out the determinant of this matrix across the row, and later if you transpose the matrix, what happens is the first row happens to be first column, right? And now again the first column happens to be the first row, right? Then you can even find out the determinant across the column, and which are both going to be same, right? So you need not worry about the proof, you just remember it. Okay, so A and A transpose both are going to have the same determinant. And the next one is, if any two rows or two columns of a determinant are interchanged, the value of the determinant is multiplied by -1. So which means if I have first theorem and second theorem are different. First one is rows and columns are interchanged means you are completely transposing the matrix, and the second one is two rows or two columns are interchanged means only two rows and columns are interchanged, like this. I'll just tell you this. If you have A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33, this is a matrix. The second theorem is saying that if you exchange a row, two rows like this, right, or exchange two columns, which means like this, either you exchange two rows or you exchange two columns, both are going to give you the same value of the determinant, but the sign is going to change, right? So what is the meaning of it is, you can put a minus. So I'm just exchanging these two rows, which means A21, A22, A23, A11, A12, A13, A31, A32, A33, which means if I exchange two rows, the value has to be multiplied by -1. So why should this be true is simple. If you take the indices of an element, right, and if you take this here, if the element the sum of two indices of these elements, if it is even here, it is odd, right, and if it is odd here, it is even, right? If it is odd here, if it is even here, it is even. So if you try to check it that way, when you are finding out the cofactors of the elements, only thing that will change is -1 pass. Okay, I'm just trying to give you a small hint here. What I'm trying to say is, whenever you just interchange the elements, what happens is the corresponding cofactors, whenever you interchange the rows, the corresponding cofactors are going to change, right? Minus are not going to change, but then the corresponding cofactors are going to change by the sign. So whenever all the cofactors are going to reverse the change sign, the final determinant is going to be different. Okay, if you understood this well, otherwise leave it. Okay, you just remember it. If you just interchange two rows or two columns, you can think that the determinant is going to become a negative value. So the value of the determinant does not change whenever you exchange rows and this whenever you find the transpose of a matrix, and it is going to be multiplied by -1 if you just interchange two rows and two columns. Next one is, if all the elements of a row or column of a determinant are multiplied by constant k. So what they mean is, if you take a row or a column and if you multiply it with a constant k, only one row. If you multiply one row complete elements with a constant k, then they are saying that the value of the new determinant is k times the original one. So how is it possible? Whenever you are trying to expand the determinant across this row, earlier you will take an element and multiply with its cofactor and then sum them all up, right? Now there is the element, along with that k is also there, therefore every element is now multiplied with k. So what happens is, earlier without this k, without multiplying this, I hope you are following this. Okay, I'll just slow down. What I'm trying to explain is, if you have this theorem is, if you multiply all the elements of a row with a constant k. See, if I have a row like this, a11, a12, a13, okay, if I multiply all the elements of the row with a constant k, then they are saying that the entire determinant is going to be multiplied by k. So they are talking about only one row or one column. If you multiply all the elements of one row or all the elements of one column with a constant k, then the determinant is going to be multiplied by k. How is it possible is, I am just giving you some proof. Earlier, without this multiplication with k, the determinant used to be a11 multiplied with its corresponding cofactor plus a12 multiplied with corresponding cofactor plus a13 multiplied with its corresponding cofactor, right? Now every element is now being multiplied with constant k. So now the new elements are k into a11. This is the new element, right? And the cofactor of k into a11. The cofactor value doesn't change, but the element value itself is changing. It is getting multiplied with k, right? And so now you can pull out k as common, and everything remaining is nothing but the earlier determinant when it was not multiplied with k. Got it? You can do the same proof for any row. You can multiply across the any row, and you can see that when you expand it across that row, you will get it. Even if you don't expand it across that row, cofactors will change. See, let us say you are multiplying the elements of some other row which is multiplied by k, not the this one. So let us assume that there is some other row which is multiplied with k, not this one, right? Then the cofactors of these will change in such a way that the determinant is going to be multiplied with k. But anyway, I think you understood this, right? See, the original determinant without being multiplied with k, we have something. Now after multiplying every value of the row with that k, what we could do is we could pull out that k and we can use the earlier one, and then we get the same thing, right? Okay, so even if you didn't understand this proof, leave it. Okay, so just remember that if you multiply just one row or one column, any row or any column with k, it is going to be multiplied with k. And an extension to this point is the next one. If A is an n ordered square matrix, then k is any constant, then they are saying that if you multiply all the elements of the matrix A with k, then the determinant of the resulting matrix is nothing but k power n into the determinant of the original matrix. So how is it possible is, again I'll explain you. If you understand it, it is okay, otherwise leave it. Okay, so what I mean to say is, it is an n ordered matrix, which means it is having n rows and n columns, right? And every element here is multiplied with k, right? Already there are some elements like this, and every element is multiplied with k. Now what happens is, whenever you are finding the determinant of a very big matrix, we take an element. Let us say we are expanding it across this row. We take an element and then find out its cofactor. In order to find the cofactor, we are supposed to find the determinant of order n minus 1, isn't it? And now again here, in order to find out the order n minus 1, let us say again there is some other matrix here, and all the elements are being multiplied with k. Again, if you are expanding this across this row, we take this element and again we find out the determinant cofactor of this element, right, which is nothing but this one. the n minus 1 2 order matrix. Likewise, you'll keep on multiplying all these k's, k here, k here, k here, k here, k here, right? Therefore, k power n we get, right? And we can pull it out as common, and the resulting the rest remaining is nothing but the determinant of the earlier matrix. Even if you didn't understand it, again by heart it, okay? These are all important points. This is very important point. K into A is k power n into A, asked in gate many times, right? And next one is, if two rows or columns of a determinant are identical, the value of the determinant is 0. What they are trying to say is, whenever you get two rows with the same elements, then we can say that the value of the determinant is 0. So it is also very important. So they are saying this: if you have A1, A2, A3 here, and then B, 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 B1, B2, B3, and again B1, B2, B3, then they are saying that whenever two rows or two columns are having the same identical values, then the determinant is going to be 0. How is it possible is, whenever you are going to have a n by n matrix, and when you are finding the determinant, you keep on finding the, in order to find the first n by n matrix determinant, you have to find the n minus 1 by n minus 1 determinant, right? And then order n minus 2, order n minus 3, so on. Ultimately, we are going to come down so that we find out the determinant of 2 by 2 matrix, isn't it? So in order to find out this determinant, we have to take this one and find out the cofactor. Cofactor is nothing but the order, cofactor is nothing but it uses the determinant of order 2 by 2, which means even though it is a 3 by 3 matrix, right, we are going to find out the determinant of 2 by 2 at some level, right? Even if it is 4 by 4 matrix, and if you are trying to find out the determinant, if you are expanding it across the first row needs the cofactors, which will use the determinants of 3 by 3, right? And when you are trying to find out the determinants of 3 by 3, again it will use the determinant of 2 by 2, isn't it? See, I am trying to explain some difficult things in simple words. If you are able to understand it, okay. Otherwise, by heart it as a formula, or it is very logical that you can remember it. See, now we multiply this one and this one and this one, right? See, which means in order to find out the determinant, we take this element and then find out this one, right? And then multiply this with the next level, right? Which means if I am trying to find out the determinant of n by n matrix, I have to find the cofactors which are nothing but determinants of size n minus 1 by n minus 1. And when I am trying finding the determinants of n minus 1 by n minus 1, I have to find the determinants of n minus 2 by n minus 2. And this process will go on till we get 2 by 2. And finally, all these have to be multiplied, right? Now, whenever two rows are equivalent, we can see that the final 2 by 2 matrices we get are observed or taken from these two, right? Then what happens when two rows are equivalent, right? The 2 by 2 determinants are going to be zeros, which means the final cofactor which you get is going to be 0, and so all the terms are going to 0, and then all the terms are going to sum up to 0. That is why whenever we have identical elements in two rows or two columns, right, we are going to get the determinant as 0. And this has lots of applications. Later we shall see it, okay? Or you can just see this here. If I have 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 4, 6, and then some 7, 8, 9, something like this. Here, these two are not actually identical, the first row and second row, but then you can write it as if it is 1, 2, 3 multiplied with 2, isn't it? So if you are trying to find out the determinant, you can write it like this: 1, 2, 3, then 2 into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 3, right? There is some third row also, that is not important here. And now you have already seen that every element of the row is multiplied by k. Then what can we do? Whenever an element is multiplied with a constant k, you can pull that element out, that constant out, and write the remaining there. Then it can be written as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 is pulled out, and then the last row is there. Now these two are identical. Therefore, even if two rows are not identical, if one row is a scalar multiplication of the other row, even in that case also, the determinant is going to be 0, because the determinant of this one is going to be 0. 2 multiplied with 0 is going to be 0. Got it? So what I mean to say is, directly the two rows need not be identical. They might even be scalar multiplication. One row might be the scalar multiplication of the other one. Even in that case, we are going to get the determinant as 0, right? So these properties can be used while simplifying the problems. I'll show you lots of problems also. There you can understand it better. If you are not able to understand any of the proofs, just remember the statements. They are going to be useful while solving the questions. We are going to solve a lot of questions that you will definitely remember these formulas. I mean all these properties. Okay, we have even more properties. I'll list them out, and we later we shall see the problems. Okay.